Hello, Living Dead Dolls fans. This is Josh, aka Doggiepants, and I'm coming at you by myself today for another series review. So we are going to keep moving along. We are on series 12 right now, which is a very interesting, very cool series. So let's just jump right in, I guess, and get started. First, I'll show you the coffins. Coffins were black, no handles. They had pink tissue paper. One of the really cool things about the series 12 dolls was actually their chipboard. So their chipboard, and let me pull this so you can kind of get a good look at it. It said the doll's name in the poem, but it had a skull that represented each doll. So this is Tessa. Tessa's got her eyes removed, so this skull actually had eyes in it, which was kind of cool. I only have two of their coffins, but I can show you the Ezekiel one, which I have right here, which is he's got his little hat. The Chloe one was a red bow. I'm trying to remember what the Cuddles one was. Maybe the clown nose, I think. And then Frozen Charlotte had the earmuffs. So, yeah, but that's the coffins. Pretty simple. Standard pink tissue paper. Not really different than anything we've seen in the past. But the skull was a new thing, and they haven't really done that since, which was a cool little detail I liked. Again, I'm going to start with my least favorite doll and go to my favorite. We're in series 12, and they're all good dolls, and I'm sure everybody's going to kind of disagree with me on certain aspects of it, and that's totally cool. But again, this is just my opinion. So here we go. We're going to start with Tessa. Now, this one may not be such a controversial choice. Tessa tends to not be the fan favorite of this series, but she is a really interesting doll. She is the first doll that we've seen to have this eye mold, which I'll get to in a minute. But let's start with her outfit. One thing that I do really like about Tessa is she has a beautiful blue dress, right? So the blue of this dress is gorgeous. It's a bright, bright blue. It has black detail right around the neck, and the detail is really, really nice. It's like a pattern that I haven't really seen before. There's that same black goes around her waist. It's a little bit thicker. And then we have the detail around her sleeve. And there is just a little hint of what looks like black tulle. This is something you may not notice right off the bat coming down out of the sleeve. But it's a cute little detail. The same kind of ribbon detail goes around the bottom of the dress as well. My biggest problem with Tessa, well, there's two, but my biggest problem is she comes with black Mary Jane shoes, which is standard, but for some reason she came with no socks. And this started a little bit of a trend for Living Dead dolls, and anybody that's been watching my reviews knows how I harp on lack of socks with dolls. They just feel better when they have socks, and also they stand better. Tessa, because she doesn't have socks, the Mary Janes don't fit right, and so sometimes she will fall off of the shelf, so you got to be kind of careful with her. A previous Tessa that I had actually just stole socks from like a bait doll that I had and put it on her just so she could stand better. And what stinks is in the promotional shot, if you look like on livingdeaddolls.com, the doll has socks. So something in the production, they must have had to cut back on cost because of her new mold or who knows what. But somewhere along the line, she lost the socks. But that's her outfit. It's pretty standard. It is all one piece, but what's interesting is instead of Velcroing up the back like they've always done for Living Dead dolls, there was something new with this doll where she has little snaps. They're little plastic snaps. See? And there's actually 3 of them on the back of the dress, which this is not something that Living Dead dolls ever really do, so I'm not sure why it's unique to this doll. And I can't remember if it's unique or if it's... No, I think it's just unique to this doll. Yeah, but just beware. She has snaps for some reason, not Velcro. But yeah, that's her dress. Let's go to her hair. Her hair is my other biggest problem with this doll. It's a little bit of a mess. I'm going to hold it up so you can kind of look and see how bad of a mess it is. She has these curls, but there's only 5 of them, which kind of makes it a little odd. And the rooting is somewhat terrible on the back of her hair. She has got this big ponytail that covers most of that for the most part. And they probably wanted to keep it a little thinly rooted so that this laid a little bit better. Her bangs are crazy. She does look like she is a little bit of a kind of a period hairstyle, which is interesting, and the hairstyle has grown on me. When I first got the doll, though, I was totally not into it. But it's grown on me. I like the color of her hair, the kind of rust red that it is. Obviously, the best thing about this doll is the new face mold. This is the first time that we ever saw the blind doll face mold. So I'm going to hold it up so you can kind of get a look at it. Basically, the eyes, that is raised around the outside of the eyes. So there is, it's built into the mold. And then the eyes are sunk in, and on the inside it's painted black. So you can see a lot of shadows that go in there. It's actually pretty scary. She is the first doll that had this. We've seen it a couple of times since then, especially in series dolls. But she was the first, so just be aware of that. She's got a nice, simple eyebrow. It's matches the hair color, really simple lip. She does have kind of bruising around the face from, I guess, gouging out her eyes. I'm not sure. But she does look pretty haunting, and I kind of wish the rest of the design of the doll stood up to the new mold. But they probably just didn't have the money. She comes with a little knife, kind of like we've seen all the way back to Sadie. It does have a peg on it, which can go in her hand, which is another thing that I find a little interesting about Tessa. I'll get to this when we get to Cuddles, but Cuddles is the first doll that, I think the first doll that had actually the curved hand where she could hold something. So to do it for one doll in the series but not the other one, I'm not sure why they went with a peg for this, but yeah, that's what it is. That is Tessa. So moving on. My second doll is Chloe, which is interesting because I know that people seem to love her. She's a very sought after doll. She was the one that I was the most excited about in the series. It was her hair that kind of drove me crazy, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's take a look at her outfit. She has the tights that we first saw, the actually sewn tights, not painted on. We first saw those on Jack and Jill. Hers are black and red. She has a black Mary Jane shoe. She has a dress that really kind of has a nod to Sadie, the original Sadie, because it is kind of a black felt. It's all one piece. It velcros up the back. And then she has this big felt red bow that is just tacked on right there underneath her chin. It's very, very cute. Very, very simple. Lovely, lovely dress. That's it for her outfit. Where she gets a little off for me again, and I think this was kind of a pattern for this series. There was something weird with the hair in Series 12. It was very thinly rooted. You can see a lot of bald spots with Chloe. It was not straight, but not really curly, so it was always kind of unmanageable. It felt a little greasy when it first came out, and her bangs were a little crazy. Now, I've seen quite a few people that actually took the time to kind of boil the hair for Chloe and really tame it. And when the collectors do that, she tends to look pretty good. Because her hair is curly, I kind of just let mine go and try to make it look all right on the shelf. And she does for the most part. And again, the series grew on me. When the series first came out, I was pretty disappointed actually in the hair quality of the dolls. But yeah, where this doll is so cool is her face paint. I'm gonna hold up. So she's got these beautiful eyes with all that black branching that goes off of them. She has a red eye, black pupil, black all around the eyes, branching off. Gray lip. It's a gray lip, but it also has that same kind of branching effect on her lips. So she looks super haunting. She's a really cool doll, and also a very sought after doll. She's probably this whole series, that's not true. 3 of these dolls sell for quite a bit of money out of this series, and she's definitely one of them. So that's Chloe. Moving on. In the third place is Ezekiel. Yes, I love a boy doll. And he is a super cool doll. He was designed really well. So let's take a look at his outfit. His outfit is, we'll start with the shoes. Black, kind of standard Living Dead doll shoes. He does come with socks. White socks. His outfit, though, is so frickin' cute. It is actually not one piece, which always surprised me because I think if they made this doll again, they would probably make it all one piece, but it's not. So he's got these black pants that have a little bit of Velcro right here on the back. And then he has this, and attached to these black pants are the red suspenders. They do have this little metal detail in the front, so it looks like they're adjustable. They're not really adjustable. That just kind of is tacked on to the front of them. But you can pull these suspenders off. It's a separate piece, and they're attached to the pants. The pants do come off, and then you have this white and black stretch kind of stretch. I'm terrible with fabrics, you guys know that. stretchy fabric for his shirt. And it is sewn. It's clear that they put it on the body and then pop the head into place because it is not Velcroed. You cannot take this off. You'd have to remove his head to get it completely off of him. But it is a separate piece. So the shirt does have a bottom in there. So you can actually, there we go. You can pull it up and show some skin. So it's not attached to the pants, which I think is pretty cool, actually. I really like that aspect of him. Then he has this cute little beanie hat. It's black and white, and it does have some felt on it, but it's like felt covered plastic, so it is kind of hard. It's glued to the top of his head. You cannot remove his hat without damaging it. And so obviously he doesn't have any hair either. And on top of that, he's got a little pinwheel that does turn. It's actually kind of hard, especially if you buy your dolls open, to find it in Ezekiel where the little turning thing on the top of his head hasn't broken off. You want to be careful with him. Don't let him fall off your shelf or anything like that. That little plastic piece tends to break easily. So just be aware of that. He has got a really, it feels like Series 2 kind of vibe about him. His skin tone is blue, but there's actually kind of like shading in there as well. So it's like a light bluish white or greenish with a little bit of another kind of color overlaid on top of it. And that's his entire body, and it comes up onto his face as well. There you can kind of see the shading colors that are all over his full body. But that same kind of shadow that they did in Series 2, they did around his eyes. So it's a bluish color around his eyes. His eyes are yellow. He's got kind of one arched eyebrow, which some people don't actually notice. But it's there. And it's black eyebrows with a little bit of branching coming off it and a black lip. He's a really, really cool doll. Pretty simple. But beautiful. You know, I love simplicity. And he does have one of the coolest accessories they ever put out. And it's this like little toy, right? And I'm going to hold this up because I don't know how to explain this like zombie pig toy. It's definitely like pieces of cardboard that they've glued together, so it doesn't it feels like an old school like 1950s toy that a little kid would pull behind him, you know. And the wheels do turn, so well, except for this one doesn't want to turn, but the rest of them do. So you could actually drag it, you know, along behind him and it would move. It's pretty cute little accessory that he came with. But that is Ezekiel. Next up is Cuddles, yes. The clown doll that I actually like. Oh, that's not true. I like the Resurrection Schizos, and Schizo has grown on me since Series 3. I'm not a big fan of the scary clown. I find it a little predictable. But she's adorable, and they did the clown really well this series. Plus, it's a girl clown, which I think is awesome. Yeah, let's talk about her outfit. I'm going to come to her shoes in a minute because they are the best, but let's look at her dress. So she's got this pink, what is it called? Gingham, I think, dress. It looks like a little picnic tablecloth. It's pink. There's a really interesting detail on the shoulder here, so it's like scrunched up with a little bit of elastic. It is low cut, and it has that same kind of felt bow that's on Chloe. And it's right there. There's a little bit of it that goes across the bodice, and then there's a bow here. That same felt is used for the hearts at the bottom of the dress. This pink dress is a separate piece, and you can remove it. Then underneath this pink dress, she's got a full black stretch bodysuit. So you may not realize this, but this little bodysuit here is all one piece. It goes from a high neck all the way down the arms and all the way down the legs, and it velcros up the back, so it is all one piece. The pink is separate. It's kind of cool. If you take off the pink, she looks like she's like a ninja or something. But obviously, my favorite part of this doll is the amazing clown shoes that they made. Now, they haven't used these again. I think maybe they used them on the Resurrection Schizo, but they haven't used them for anything else because, you know, they're clown shoes. But they are freaking adorable. They're really hard to get off. They're not split in the back like some of the other shoes, so they don't slide off as easy. So getting them on and off is a little difficult. Be aware of that. But they're red. They've got a black sole. Very cool shoes. Her hair is probably the best hair of the series, but that being said, it's not amazing. It's pretty decently rooted. There's no bald spots. It is a little hard to get your fingers through the hair sometimes. You could brush this doll, and she's still going to have some snarls. Her hair was a little greasy, but for the most part, pretty decent. Here is her face, which again is incredible. They gave the torn face that we first saw in Died from Died and Doom, years and years ago. But the clown makeup is really, really simple. So she's got the drawn-on lip on this side, black eye with a really bright yellow pupil, a really simple eyebrow, but another amazing detail is this adorable red clown nose. That is part of the sculpt, I believe. I don't think that's glued on top. No, I think it's a whole new sculpt. Yeah, looks like it. So the face is sculpted to be that way, which is pretty interesting because that means that they have used 2 new face sculpts for this series. Maybe that's one of the reasons that they cut Tessa's socks. But yeah, very, very, very cool doll. She does come with an accessory. Oh, and also, I did want to mention this. She was, I believe, and if I'm wrong, please put it in the comments, but I'm like 90% sure, she was the first doll to have the curved hand for accessories. So that's why I was kind of confused by Tessa. If you're going to give a curved hand to one doll, why not give it to both? That way Tessa could hold her knife, she could hold her machete, whatever. But whatever. Here is her machete, standard Living Dead Dolls machete, lots of blood, and it does slide into the hand. Her hand, and maybe it was because they were first kind of figuring it out, the knife is a little thick for her hand, so you really kind of got to shove it in there to get her to hold it, but she can hold it. It actually stretches out her hand a little bit, which makes it a little bit easier. I'm not going to fight it right now because I don't display her holding her machete, and it would be embarrassing trying to get it into her hand right now. Yeah, but that is Cuddles, the female clown. So obviously the last one is probably the most expensive doll of this series, if not one of the most expensive dolls of all series, and that is Frozen Charlotte. Now, here she is, Frozen Charlotte. She has some difficulty standing, so I'm going to hold on to her. Frozen Charlotte is a style of doll that's gone back for 100 years or so. If you Google Frozen Charlotte, you're going to kind of see what those dolls look like. So it's a little bit of a nod to those dolls. But that's it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But this is her. She's gotten some complaints about being just too cutesy. She seems like a regular doll. But she has this kind of broken porcelain doll thing going for her. So I love her. I think she's super, super cool. Plus, she's just so well made. Super, super well made. A lot of details went into her. Yeah, so let's take a look at her outfit. Her outfit is incredible. So it is this blue dress here, and there are these buttons that go all down the front. The Velcro for this dress is in the front, so it's like a coat dress, right? Now, she has this white fur that goes around the sleeves, the bottom of the sleeves. Then she has this detail at the top, which it is attached. It looks a little like it would be a hood, but it's not. It's kind of like a big collar for the top of her dress. So I'm going to take these off so you can kind of get a good look at the back of it. See how it kind of does a little like wavy thing. But it goes all the way around the dress. And then it's, that's pretty much it. And then matching the same fabric as her dress, she's got these adorable little gloves. So they're like mittens. But these mittens come off. They are a separate piece and sometimes can get lost. So if you are buying a Frozen Charlotte, make sure that she has got both of her mittens and also the little pom-poms on her shoes. A lot of times when I was looking for a Frozen Charlotte, I'm having a hard time getting this back on, that tended to be a problem. They were not on all of the open dolls that I found on eBay. So I'm sorry, I'm getting text messages and it dings, and that's what that noise is. Sorry about it. But that is her dress. Here are her shoes. Basically, they're built a little similar to the way that they built the roller skates. So they took a standard Living Dead Dolls boot and then they put a new bottom on them. So the bottom actually has the ice skates right there. It's a white boot, black on the bottom. Now, what I meant about the missing pom-poms is you're going to see that there's these, there's a fur detail along the top of the boots, but there's also these cute little white pom-poms that hang. They're pretty fragile and they can tear off really, really easily. So just be very gentle with her. Again, you don't want her to fall off the shelf because her mittens can get lost, the little pom-poms can break off, you could damage the ice skates. So either get a doll stand or make sure that she's well supported however you display her. The last bit of her outfit is her little earmuffs. And it feels like there is kind of a cardboard on the inside of that. It's the same fabric as the coat. And then these little kind of white puffs at the bottom that have been sewn. It's all one piece. It's not elastic, but it is kind of built to stay in that position, which holds onto her head pretty well. But can fall off easily, so just be aware of it. And it's hard to get it perfect over her ears, so sometimes it just kind of hangs out where it needs to hang out. Yeah, so let's look at her paint, her body paint. Now you're going to notice she's got white skin, obviously, because she's frozen, but there is some blue kind of staining or details that go around her body, so she looks really frozen. On the back of her leg, and then a few other places as well, you're going to notice that she is cracked, right? Because she's a frozen doll who has since broken. So certain parts of her body, she's got this cracking detail, and also on her forehead as well. Obviously, that is the largest crack, and it's pretty nice detail that they have on there. Her face is a very, very simple face. It's blue lips, blue eyes, really simple eyelashes, about as simple of a doll as you can possibly imagine. Her hair is all right. It's white. It's put in this high ponytail. There's nothing around the ponytail like a ribbon or anything, so don't worry about that. But like most Living Dead dolls with ponytails, it's very thinly rooted, so you don't want to take down the ponytail. You're just going to see a giant bald doll. Her bangs are always crazy. I've never seen a Frozen Charlotte without like crazy bangs. You can try to tame this, but if you tame it, sometimes it covers up the little crack detail a little bit, so I kind of just let mine go as it came. But that is Frozen Charlotte. I'm trying to think of any other things I want to show you. I guess there is another crack on the back of her neck. I don't think there's any on the body that's hidden, but there may be that I'm missing. I don't think so. I think those are it. The back of the neck, the forehead, and the leg. Yeah, she's a great, great doll. Very, very cool. Very hard to get. Kind of expensive, so if you can track her down, do it. That is it. Let's see. I don't know if I can get all of them up here. I always try. But, yeah. This is Series 12. I know I was a little all over the place today, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm keeping these going because people seem to be asking for them or wanting them. So, I will keep it up. I may be slow, but they're coming. What can I say? That is it. That's Series 12. Thanks so much for watching. Next series is Series 13, the Unlucky series. I don't know if I have any dolls coming up from Mezco, because they don't have anything really kind of on deck right now. I guess the first thing that's on deck would be Series 29. So that may be the first thing that I get from them to review, but that's not going to be till May. So I'll try to get maybe another couple series reviews up in that time. But yeah. That's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll just talk to you guys later. Bye. 'Cause you are water 12 feet